Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
I can.
Okay, great. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the Hoperation Fund monthly meeting for June. Mm, Today, I will first start off with an introduction of our new adult advisor and of our donation plan to Libutan Elementary, the elementary school in the Philippines we talked about last time, as well as an announcement of some new opening positions in the Hoperation Fund. And then after that, we will do our financial news report from our three reporters. And then our VP of Media Design, Emily, will share the flyer she designed for the Hoperation Fund. Mm, Then I will make another announcement about a new reading club. We're starting at the Hoperation Fund. And finally, I will go over the Hoperation Fund portfolio report and market analysis. Then at the end, if we have time, I will um, present the investment lecture for today about how with a review of how to evaluate a portfolio or an investing strategy and about some traditional famous investing portfolios. Okay, so now let me introduce our new adult advisor, Douglas Huntley. Mr. Huntley is a graduate of Indiana University and Purdue University with degrees in both science and business. He has 30 years of experience in owning and managing Midwestern commercial and residential real estate. His nearing retirement focus these days is primarily with active investing and philanthropy in the Republic of the Philippines, including introducing potable water via shallow wells and rainwater collection, and treatment and electrification in rural areas. It is my very great honor to have Mr. Huntley as our adult advisor, and he will be helping us with our ongoing charity initiative in the Philippines. So join me in giving Mr. Huntley a warm round of applause to welcome him to the Hoperation Fund. Okay, so Mr. Huntley, would you like to talk more about yourself and about our donation plan for Lebuton Elementary?
Well, I would love to. Thank you very much for the gracious introduction, Olivia. You're so professional, and I'm so proud of you. Um, Rather than talk about myself, which is a little bit boring for me and probably for everyone, but let's talk about helping some people, and that really strikes a nerve with me. So, the Laibutan School in the rural part of Manukan, Zamboanga del Norte in the Philippines is an elementary school, and it's very, very impoverished. They struggle sometimes with having fresh water. Stable electricity is another issue. A lot of things that we simply take for granted here in the US, they just don't have access to. I think they get a little bit of government assistance, but mainly those funds are used to pay the teachers. And the teachers themselves are very kind hearted, they're very good teachers. They do very well with what little they have. And that's really impressive to me. So I like to go, and whenever I get the chance to attend graduation, I think that goes up to sixth grade. So I usually try to go in um, July to attend sixth grade graduation and help out a little bit financially with repairs, work on a water pump one time, make a little bit of a few financial contributions, and generally just try to contribute to the education and safety of the students.
Thank you so. Wait, can you guys hear me? Because it says on my screen that the internet connection is unstable, and I feel like I'm lagging a bit on my side.
Oh, it looks really good to me.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Thank you so much, Mr. Huntley, for joining the Hoperation Fund and for helping us brainstorm and carry out our donation plan to Lebuton Elementary. Oh yeah, speaking of which,
Hmm.
um, Could you talk more about like how we are planning to donate and help the Buton Elementary? And because I think that might interest the other members in the Hoperation Fund.
Yes, for sure. And I've been, over the last couple of weeks, I've been communicating with one teacher there in particular named Marilyn, whose English happens to be really, really good. And we know each other on a face-to-face basis. So I've been communicating with her, who communicates with the headmaster, who I have not yet met. There's a brand new principal at that school. But we've bounced around back and forth between, I thought at first a fence repair would be in order to keep, bad guys from wandering into the schoolyard and keep the kids well contained in a safe way. And then they started thinking, and they came up with an idea that they may have better use for gadgets. And by that they mean iPads, computers, things like that. I honestly, personally don't like that idea because, frankly, gadgets can be stolen, they can be lost, they can be damaged quite easily. Whereas a fence or maybe even a miniature library, things like that, not so likely to be stolen or misappropriated or damaged. And so we're still talking about that, but I am giving the message to them that July is coming, and that I'm going to have to document whatever we decide to do very carefully because who knows, maybe Doug will turn into a person who steals money, or the teachers, or who knows. It's just really important as we go towards creating a 501(c) that we learn how to document every dollar that's spent very carefully. And me personally, I would like to see this first one go very smoothly, to where the Hoperation is happy, the students get some benefit, the school's happy, and a pretend evaluation by the IRS, the government, they would be happy. So I think this is a very important first step. I want to take our time and do it right.
Okay, thank you so much then,
Mm,
Mr. Huntley, for introducing us to Liputin Elementary and and helping us with our charity initiative.
mm,
So I think it would be best if we because we plan to donate around $700 to $1,000.
mhm,
I think it would be best if we would spend our money mainly on like building a fence for like the safety of the children,
mhm.
and also maybe on the remaining money for like books and educational materials.
That
And,
sounds very reasonable.
yeah, and I think we'd have to have like a lot of like documents, like before and after pictures too, etc.
Yes. I was just going to say that, Olivia. When it comes to documents like we're used to in the United States, receipts and forms and checks, things that we're accustomed to here for good record keeping, just don't exist in impoverished areas around the world, especially like in the Philippines. So, um, maintaining a paper trail, ironically, is going to be mainly with photographs. So, I plan on over photographing every step just to make sure that as much evidence of a proper transaction takes place.
Okay, then that's amazing.
Mm,
Mhm. Okay, so again, thank you so much for being our adult advisor, Mr. Huntley. Um,
sure.
and again, it's my honor to have you, and I hope we can like continue to like work on this charity initiative. Okay,
Absolutely. Bless your heart. Thank you.
okay. So next, I would like to move on to an announcement about some opening leadership positions in the Hoperation Fund. But first, I think, Arav, did you have a question you wanted to ask?
When will I be giving my presentation?
Oh, you will be giving your financial news report, I think after this, but if you have some urgent place you need to go or anything,
No, I'm
um,
fine. I'm fine.
oh, okay, that's great then. Okay. So, on to my announcement about some opening leadership positions. Currently, we have 83 active members in the Hoperation Fund from 18 different states. And we are
Wow.
building a nationwide movement that combines financial literacy and real-world investing with charitable giving and philanthropy. So to continue expanding, we are now opening vice president or VP of chapter positions in major cities and regions. So for more details on that, you can go to the blog section in the Hoperation Fund website. Can you guys see my screen over here? Mm,
Yes, but it's a
Yes.
little bit too small. Maybe you can zoom in.
Um, how about here?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So there are several important responsibilities of a VP of chapter. The first one is chapter leadership and recruitment. So as a VP of chapter, you will serve as a main point of contact between your local chapter members and the other leadership teams. You will recruit at least 5 new members in your local area per year, and a major responsibility as a VP of chapter will be to create a welcoming and inclusive environment for new members to help them integrate fund. You also have the ability to organize and lead regular chapter meetings or meetups as needed to maintain membership engagement. And vice presidents of their chapters will be able to establish and oversee a city-based chapter team. So another important responsibility is fundraising strategy and event execution. Working with me, you will help set and achieve fundraising goals for your chapter and plan and be able to plan and execute your own local fundraising events in your area, such as sales drives or charity campaigns. Additionally, another responsibility will be community engagement and advocacy. And you will promote Hoperation Fund's mission through public speaking, school announcements, or from posting flyers in your school, for example. And one and you will need to actively advocate for the Hoperation Fund to raise awareness, attract donations, and increase our community impact. So the Hoperation Fund provided some leadership training if you're selected as a VP of chapter mm, to build your leadership skills and make sure um, you're trained in your role. And you will be required to complete that. And you will also attend monthly virtual meetings with me and other VP of chapters to coordinate efforts and align strategies. And being a vice president of your chapter is an amazing opportunity to build your leadership skills and create memorable moments and memories and most importantly lead your own chapter and chapter members. So to apply, you can submit an application, so from this link here, and it will open up into a Google form where you only need to answer a few questions and submit a resume. And after you submit your application, we will arrange an interview for you. And this form is open from now to June 30th. So again, this is a great chance for anyone who wants to take on a important leadership role. Okay, and so moving on, let's finally go on to our financial news, which I notice some people have been waiting for. So last meeting, Rob, Sebastian, and William agreed to make a short report about recent financial news and what's happening in the stock market and Wall Street. So does anyone want to go first, Arav or Sebastian or William? Okay. Okay, Sebastian, you can go first then. Do you need to share your screen?
What?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Do you need to share your screen or anything?
I don't think so. I can.
Okay.
NVIDIA is the world's leading maker of AI computer chips, powering everything from ChatGPT to self-driving cars. During the company's May 2025 earnings report, the CEO made strong statements about U.S. economic policy and America's competitive position in the global AI race. The NVIDIA CEO has called U.S. semiconductor export controls on China a failure. He argues these restrictions have cut NVIDIA's China market share from 95% to 50%, while accelerating Chinese innovation rather than stopping it. The CEO warned that the $50 billion China market is effectively closed to U.S. industry, forcing American companies to abandon massive revenue sources without achieving national security goals. The CEO told lawmakers that China is not behind in AI and called Huawei one of the most formidable technology companies in the world. He believes current US policy wrongly assumes China cannot make AI chips when that assumption was already questionable and now it's clearly wrong. Despite trade challenges, the CEO sees potential for U.S. manufacturing, saying, "With willpower and the resources of our country, I'm certain we can manufacture onshore." NVIDIA is building AI servers near Houston with partner Foxconn. However, he advocates for global engagement over restriction, arguing America should ensure every developer in the world prefers American technology stacks rather than pushing them toward competitors. The CEO believes current trade restrictions weaken America's long-term technological leadership. He argues that maintaining global market presence, not market restriction, is key to America's economic future in the AI age.
Okay, thank you so much, Sebastian.
I can go
for that
next.
for that really detailed report about NVIDIA and like NVIDIA's CEO's opinions on how like Trump's exports and tariff policies may impact NVIDIA and like the semiconductor market. So again, thank you so much, Sebastian, for taking the time to make that. And I think Arav requested to go next. So
Yes, I did the analysis in the sporting goods sector. The sporting goods sector is where companies manufacture clothing, equipment, and necessities for sports. Some things that will affect this sector are tariffs and inactivity. Tariffs will affect this because people will spend more on necessities rather than luxuries such as shoes and nice sports clothing. Inactivity, which is when people don't want to play sports, is also a threat. The percentage of adults who are inactive went from 26% in 2019 to 31% in 2022. Companies are persuading people to become more active. Shimano is working with school bicycle clubs to teach children the importance in how to ride a bike. Challenger companies can also affect the companies within the sector. This can be a major problem. Between 2019 and 2024, Nike and Adidas lost 3% of their holders to challenger brands such as Horizon or Nordic Track. The current top sporting good companies are Nike, Adidas, Lululemon Athletica, Anta Sports, and Amer Sports. I couldn't find very many ETFs that held sporting good companies. I found some that mainly have industrial services, technology, and AI chips, but have small portions of sporting good companies. They are VCR and FDIS. I recommend not to invest in this sector until the tariff threats go away, because people will not have enough money to spend on these luxuries.
okay, thank you so much, Rob. For that was a really in-depth report about the sporting goods industry, and I think I learned a lot about like the industry and the trends in that industry. So thank you so much for that, Arav. Again, it's really amazing, Arav and Sebastian, how you guys have made so many detailed and in-depth reports about these companies or industries. Okay.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the last person to go is William. So would you like to share your report, William? Okay.
All right, thank you very much. So, my report is going to be on overall the stock market and the general U.S. economy. First things first that I've noticed is gold and silver. Gold and silver has been generally on the uptrend these past few months due to certain economic uncertainties regarding tariffs, government policies, among other things. And so a lot of people have been flocking to gold and silver to try to hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty, which has been driving up the price of gold and silver, resulting in a rally these past few months. And as someone who has bought a little bit of silver in the past, uh, these gains have been considerable. Moving on, we have overall the tariff situation around our last meeting. I believe that the stock market after Trump's certain enacting certain dates for tariffs, I believe around our last meeting, the stock market had pretty much bottomed out, and I believe that has been the case for this past month. This past month, as the stock market has bottomed out and we're currently just bobbing at kind of all-time lows. In fact, a lot of stocks like Nvidia, Microsoft, AMD, and Micron Technology, a lot of these tech sector stocks actually have recovered in this past month. And the people who bought at those all-time lows certainly will have profited quite a lot. However, the tariff situation is still ongoing. More news will probably come up. Trump and the Chinese president are scheduled to talk about tariffs in the next week and in the coming days. And so the tariff situation remains rather volatile at this point. Overall, it's summer now. Overall, it's summer now, and I believe that for me, there's this saying for the summer season in the stock market where you say, sell in May and go away. And this saying is essentially revolt suggests that overall, the summer season for investing in the stock market isn't particularly good or yielding good returns. But personally, I don't really think that's the case. That's the case. I think that more so it revolves around the point that the stock market's pretty stable, pretty uneventful during the summertime because obviously after we have June, July, and August, we have September and the threat of government shutdowns. And then typically September is the worst performing month. And then after that, we have the holiday season and then the holiday quarters, which will certainly motivate certain investor action in the future. And so for now, I think that the stock market is pretty much bottomed out from the tariffs. Obviously, we still don't know, but the tariffs could certainly push the stock market further down or potentially up, depending on how the tariffs are going to be set, depending on what the U.S. government makes of it. But for now, I think for the summer season, the stock market's generally performing okay, and hopefully there won't be as much volatility in the summer season.
Well said.
Yeah, thanks, William. That was a really excellent report. And I really appreciated how you talked about like the overall stock market and how you talked in very thoroughly about many aspects of like finance, such as the performance of gold and silver, the impact on the stock market of tariffs, seasonality trends in the stock market, and your outlook on the stock market. So thank you so much, William.
Mhm.
That was a really great report.
That was great.
Okay, so again, Arov, Sebastian, and William, thank you so much for taking the time to make these financial news reports and to keep all of us updated on what's happening in the stock market and in like different industries of the stock market. And so again, I really appreciate you guys making these reports to inform all of us on recent financial news. Okay, so I think for next meeting we will also need some financial news reporters. So does anyone want to be a financial news reporter for next meeting? Again, thank you, Rob, Sebastian, and William, for being our reporters for this meeting. Okay, so Sebastian and Rob, you guys, hold on. Let me get out of this. Okay, so you guys agree to become the news reporters for next meeting too, right? Hold on. Okay,
Yeah.
William, sorry, Sebastian. Yeah, I cannot write it. And Sebastian. And I think William said in the chat that he can go again too. Okay, that's great. So does anyone else want to go again? Okay, then that's amazing. Then we have to really insightful news reporters for our next meeting too. Okay, so now let's move on to another thing I want to cover today, and that's our flyer design. So our VP of media design, Emily, she worked with me to design a flyer for the Hoperation Fund, and I think she can share it to us, and we will discuss like how we can if anyone has any feedback and how we can like use this flyer. So, Emily, do you need to share your screen or anything? I think I'll stop my share.
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Uh, it didn't work, right? Okay.
Olivia, do you need to give that access to Emily?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I didn't enable sharing. Okay. Wait, I think I should have enabled participants to share. Mm,
I
Yeah.
saw Emily's name on the sharing screen earlier.
Yeah, I think at least I can share. Yeah, I can
oh,
share.
okay. I
Mm.
think.
Stop sharing. I just tried.
Okay, I think it worked.
Okay, great.
Okay, yay, I can see your screen now.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. So, first, I talked about the Hoperation Fund's goals and visions, like educating about financial skills and then creating a positive impact through supporting neglected charities. And then I have a section where you can get involved, like donating and how it's like free of cost because you get your money back. And then I have this section where I have like the steps of what we do at the Hoperation Fund, like fundraising and then investing in charity and education. And I put arrows to show that they're all like linked together and it's kind of like they're all related and it's like a cycle kind of. So, yeah.
Yeah, this looks amazing, Emily. I like how you managed to make it like professional, but also like add like a lot of cute elements. Mm. Do you guys have any suggestions? Anyone have any suggestions for the flyer? I think right now we're welcome to any suggestions. So like
Mhm.
anything you think, maybe some final touches you need to add. Although I think I originally advised Emily to to put the text in the charity section. I think maybe we can shorten that a little
It
bit.
was a lot, yeah.
Yeah. I did not realize it would be that long.
I tried bolding like the important parts, so if people were reading it really quickly, they could read the bolded parts.
Okay. Yeah. So I think maybe I think we could like maybe shorten that. But I really liked how you included like the bolded text to like add emphasis to
Mhm.
the text. Okay, so Arav said, I think that two of the boxes are pink and they should be all one color. So like you mean the visions and getting involved boxes, Arav?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could make them one color. It kind of looks like, I don't know if it looks the best if I
Mm.
make them all one color.
Oh, I think Arav means like making the wait, Arav, do you
Like
mean
this?
No, that's right. Yeah, that's what I meant.
that's what he meant? Oh, okay.
Does this look better?
I don't know. Personally, I like the pink a little more because I thought it made like the fundraising, investing, charity, and education stand out a little. But I don't know.
Mhm.
Do you guys like the pink better or like all
I
red?
think I like the pink better.
I like the pink.
Yeah, okay. Then we
Okay,
can stick to
awesome.
the pink. Okay. Oh, and I think William said we could include more visuals. Oh, yeah, William, by visuals, do you mean like pictures or like clip arts?
I think both would be great.
I think it would be great if we could add pictures, except I don't know what pictures of what, like pictures of the Hoperation Fund meetings or pictures of like donating to the Hoperation Fund, like pictures of like us donating to charities or like pictures of.
Pictures,
I think
pictures of
like
all
pictures
of
of what
that.
we do.
But like, where would if we did have pictures? Where do you guys think we should like put the pictures?
Next to the light bulb.
Next to the light bulb?
It's gonna be really small. It's gonna be like this.
Yeah, it might look really cramped.
You could get rid of the light bulb and put pictures there.
Okay, I'll
I think
try.
if we shorten it first and then maybe we'll have some room for pictures.
Yeah, I think he's right.
Okay,
Okay.
so
And in the charity section, there's a lot of words.
Yeah.
I think we should shorten the charity section. And do you guys think we should shorten the getting involved section too? Or like
Yes.
the fundraising, the investing? Okay, so Kai said I think we should add the logo of the Hoperation Fund. Same. I think maybe we should add the logo. Although
Mhm.
the thing is, I think we should really change the Hoperation Fund logo because it looks way too cool and like it looks way too professional a little bit sometimes. But I think, of course, I think our logo is great. I think it's like a really good logo, but I think maybe in the future we could like change that logo. But anyways, if we were to add the logo, where would we add that then?
Maybe where this thing is.
Mm. Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Wait, but would they like recognize that it was our logo?
No, you could put the logo like right there
Hmm?
where I circled.
Okay, I think right now I think maybe we should like try and shorten the text. How
Yes.
about okay, how about everyone let's try and shorten the charity text. How about everyone you can like just put a shortened version of the charity text into the chat and we can see like what's best then I guess. Because I think it would be best if we like all like gathered here just for like maybe 10-15 minutes to decide how to like change maybe like edit our flyer a little.
80% of our investment gains go to various nonprofit organizations focusing on education in underserved regions and nations, welfare of children and women, probably don't need all of this.
You just get rid of that, that's fine.
But we might need we want to show some of the things that the places where our money goes to.
Yeah, same.
But
I was thinking because we need to show what the focus is of the Hoperation Fund. Right now, I think we're planning to work on the Philippine school, like Lebuton Elementary. I think on July or June 17. Is it June 17? Um, Mr. Huntley was planning to go to the Philippines and to donate there and give the money and make the documentation and stuff. So I don't know. Do you think we should include that in our poster? I'm not in our flyer or no?
Like a
I don't think
picture?
so.
Maybe a picture, just mention it.
Yeah, I can maybe put a picture, but maybe not a whole text.
Okay, I'm gonna make
But also make the text smaller.
shorter. Okay, how about this? So, is this shorter?
Here's one thing. People might want to donate to get tax write-off. So giving them their money back um would be good for some people and not good for other people.
Yeah, that would only be good for people who actually itemize on their tax forms. Um, these that for the last 5 or 7 years or so, the standard deduction is what the majority of people do on their taxes, and I think that allows up to $300 per year. You can just donate, and you don't even need to document it very well. But um, to go over that, you have to itemize your taxes.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Olivia and the team, we can delete the last sentence of charity because
Okay.
we are now in a dilemma. If we should make it to be pure non-profit organization so that we can get 503 that is has a tax exception. If we do that, then we cannot allow people to get the money back.
That's right.
Oh, okay. So how about
Maybe
wait?
it's security donation in the future.
Then you should move it down.
How about say 80% of our investment gains um are go to nonprofit organizations. No, go to um under recognized nonprofit organizations. Although we do want to donate to the school in the Philippines, and I'm pretty sure Lebuton Elementary isn't a nonprofit organization.
Hmm.
So, how about under recognized
Or
areas?
underserved communities.
Okay, go
Yeah,
to underserved community. Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay.
Anything we're not sure of, probably shouldn't include for the time being until we're properly sure of everything. And then after that, we can include that on our flyer.
How about underserved communities and nonprofit organizations?
Yes.
yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, we should include something clear now, and if future we define new things, we can add on.
Okay, that's great then.
Okay.
Mm, do you think we need to shorten the investing section too?
I don't think so.
I can shorten it just a little bit. Your contributions to the
How about
Hoperation Fund.
contributions to the Hoperation Fund?
Yeah.
And how about instead of that prioritizes, do prioritizing? It's shorter. Like,
Uh-huh.
Also, maybe
Wait.
at the end of investing, you can do compared to return of blank on the S&P 500
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So
to
compare it.
make sure it's better than the S.
Actually, I think we should do like a year-over-year statistic compared to the S&P 500. I think that would make our investment portfolio more impressive.
Yeah,
Mm.
because with the recent things, the S&P 500 has gone down a lot and
Mm.
then bounced back up.
That's a great idea. Okay, how about this? Do you think we can do 2 pages of a flyer, like double-sided or something?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, that's great because I think we have like way too much to like put and
Yeah.
way too little space.
What do y'all think should go on the first one? Just like
Okay.
these two?
Yeah, how about at the back we'll do like the year-to-year comparison of returns for the Hoperation Fund, and then how about at the front let's include a picture and a logo
Uh-huh.
because like pictures attract people and pictures like actually make it seem real, right?
Right.
Mm. Okay. Do you think you could like move like maybe get rid of the light bulb and move the Hoperation Fund and everything to the top so we have like space at the bottom? Okay, Sebastian said I think it would be hard to make flyers that are double-sided. Really? I think like you can like just print them like regularly, and I think a lot of printers like let you print double-sided, right? And if we were to put the flyers like on a wall or something, then we could just like put like 2 faces, like have the front face on a wall and then right next to it, like the back page.
Uh,
So
Yeah. How about this? I know it is really hard to change all the files in one meeting. So Emily and Olivia, can we do this? You can share this editable version to the whole Hoperation Fund. Then we can make another copy just to be safe. And then we can ask the team members to add their comments or give Emily any comments so that Emily can consolidate the comments and put it into enhanced version. Maybe
okay.
that we should do it offline.
Okay, that's a good idea then too. Then I guess Emily, do you think you could share it with everyone? I think I would have to give you wait,
Yeah, I
but
don't
this is
know
like a
everyone's like
Canva though.
emails or anything.
Yeah, this is like
Also,
Canva though.
I also have a Canva Pro account, so
Okay, but
that's
no.
also
Oh, that would be awesome.
yeah.
Okay, so does anyone here have like a Canva account? Like, does everyone here have Canva accounts? And if not, I guess you can just like make one then after this. Sorry.
Or
Um.
maybe Emily can share the version. Maybe even its picture is okay. And
Okay.
each team member can share the comments like they share in the chat with Emily. Emily can consolidate all the opinions. Maybe there's some conflict opinion. That's totally fine. So Emily will make a best judgment and to see what opinions and suggestions she can include into the file.
Okay, that's a
Yeah,
really
sure.
good idea. Okay.
And and Arav, you shared 2 emails. Are those 2 emails the same one as we are in the Operation Fund email list? Or they
No,
are
that is
different?
not.
Oh, that is not.
That is not.
Oh, okay. So do you actually prefer these 2 emails that you shared to be included into Operation Fund email list?
Yes.
No, no, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. But I think for simplicity, Okay, I'll copy your emails, but I think for simplicity, maybe we should just like use the same emails in as in the Hoperation Fund, on because I think
I
that's
mean,
convenient.
for me, it's fine because I don't check that email at all. That's the thing.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay then. Mm,
so if any of you want to update your emails to be included into Operation Fund email, actually you can give two emails if you'd like. You can please email Olivia to say, oh, I wanted to include another email to the email list, so I can have two emails. If you want to do that, feel free to email Olivia.
yeah, I think that's a good plan. If you guys need to change your email or anything, just email me. But I think for now, I'll just give Emily like the regular Hoperation Fund emails.
Mm.
Um, And I think that will be it then. I think Emily, can you make like a photo of this flyer and put it on a Google Doc or something, and
Mhm.
then share it with all of us,
Yeah.
and so we can like see it. Yeah, that would be great, and we can like comment on it too. And I think next meeting we can just like review this flyer really quickly for maybe 5 minutes, and just to like see the revisions and discuss more about it. Okay.
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 Awesome.
Nice. And so thank you, Emily, for taking the time to make this flyer.
Yeah,
By
of
the way,
course.
Emily, I loved it just the way it was. I think you did a great job.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
you really did an amazing job with the flyer.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I will. In a Google Doc.
Okay, so I think let's continue with the rest of the meeting then. And okay. Oh, so the final thing I want to announce today is a reading club that I'm planning for the Hoperation Fund to start. So since like we're on summer break right now and everyone has more time, I was thinking we could add like more events for the Hoperation Fund members. And one thing I would think would be really great is a reading club, and I think the first book that we could read is this book called ChatGPT and the Future of AI. Why? Because with like the rise of large language models, for example, ChatGPT and DeepSeek, many hedge funds and like hedge fund companies have begun using large language models in their hedge funds and for trading. For example, DeepSeek was invented by or created by a Chinese hedge fund company or investment company. So I think um, as these large language models are becoming more popular, many more hedge funds and companies may begin using them for trading. And I think it would be great if we could learn more about AI and these models just because it may impact like the stock market and investing. But this is like a totally optional reading club and it's free for Hoperation Fund members. So I just thought it would be a great way, since it's summer break and everyone has more time to add in some more interesting events to the Hoperation Fund. For the meetings, I think, would be free for Hoperation Fund members, and they would be the same time as the Hoperation Fund, so 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock Central Time on Sundays, except for the actual Hoperation Fund monthly meeting days, and maybe like every week. And I think I'll send another email about that later. Okay, that's amazing then. Hold on. Okay. So now let's move on to talk about the investment portfolio for the Hoperation Fund. Its return in May was 3.91%. And In the beginning of May, I sold SQQQ, IAUM, and all of the stocks in the energy sector we have. I also traded TQQQ with realized gains and increased the holdings in the technology companies NVIDIA, Meta, and Google. I also purchased QOD. So these are some visualizations of the Hoperation Fund's total returns. And its total return since its inception, since June 2023, is 68.9%. In comparison, SPY and QQQ had much lower returns in like around 44 and 50% and during that time period.
That's impressive.
So while the Hoperation Fund recently hasn't been having the best returns and it admittedly hasn't been outperforming the market, I believe over the long term it definitely will. As you can see, it still has like much higher returns than SPY and QQQ. And even the best investment portfolios will sometimes have dips in performance or sometimes underperform the market for short periods of times, such as like even Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. And I believe because of the Hoperation Fund's focus on high quality long-term investments, I think over the long term we will continue to have much higher returns than the market. So now time for the market analysis. Based on some long-term investment models of the Hoperation Fund, in my opinion, the midterm and long-term market action is currently bullish. Um, the short-term market sentiment, according to the CNN Fear and Greed Index, is um, neutral-ish greedy, and however, the market valuation is still slightly overvalued. So the 10-year Treasury yield right now is 4.398%, and the S&P 500 PE ratio is 28.15. So as I've said many times before, if you take the reciprocal of the 10-year Treasury yield, you'll get not like a super accurate, but a fair like estimation of the S&P 500's like true or fair PE. And right now, if you take the reciprocal of 1 over 0.04398, you get around 22. So I think the market right now is still slightly overvalued. Because the market direction is for the midterm and long term is bullish, I would suggest having a large section of your investment portfolio in stocks and minimal cash or cash equivalents, long-term bonds, and gold. Okay, and finally, I think we can go on to our investment lectures. However, I think it's nearing time today, so I think I will just talk about the review of last lecture and maybe the first half of the case study. Okay, so this is just like a picture of a month, and I just put it here because I thought it was interesting because the like big contrast between like traders and investors in this photo. While I admit traders can have like high returns. For example, James Simons and his Renaissance Technologies investment fund. While traders can get high returns, I believe the overall best strategy is still to pick high quality long-term investments and hold them for a considerable period of time. And it's a really like low stress strategy compared to traders too. Okay, so now let's actually. Oh yeah, but wait, if you guys have any other interesting pictures about investing or finance, please share them. Please share them to me. Okay, so now let's actually continue onto the investment lecture for today. First, I'll just go over a review of the investment lecture last time about how to evaluate a portfolio or an investing strategy. So the step one would be to obtain the monthly returns of like some portfolios or in companies or investing strategies that you're evaluating over at least 5 years, or more than 10 years would be better if you can get the data. And this is so like you can see the performance of the portfolio over a long period of time. Pressure. Well, if you have a long period of time, you will very likely have like the stock market crashes in that period of time, and so you can see how well a portfolio or a company performs during those market crashes. Um, and also overall, it's just like better to like have the data from a company from like a long period of time, so you get like the overall performance versus a short period of time. So step two is to calculate the following metrics. The four listed here are just some of the most fundamental ones, but ones that I think are really important. So we have the compound annualized growth rate or CAGR, the standard deviation, the maximum drawdown, and the Sharpe ratio. So the compound annualized growth rate or CAGR is basically just like the return of a portfolio or investment strategy, like on average each year, taking into account like compounding. And so of course the higher the better. For standard deviation and maximum drawdown, since they're like volatility metrics, the smaller the better. And for the Sharpe ratio, the higher the better. And this is just a reminder of what we talked about last time. Okay, and now let's continue to the actual case study for today. And today I want to talk about another famous and traditional investment portfolio, Ray Dalio's All Seasons portfolio. And this, I think, is just a simplified version or like another name for his all-weather portfolio, basically. So the All Seasons portfolio is composes of 30% US stocks, 40% long-term bonds, 15% intermediate-term bonds, 7.5% commodities, 7.5% gold, and you rebalance that annually, as you can see from this pie chart. In practice, like in real life, if you want to use ETFs, I listed some following ETFs that you can use to build this portfolio. So for the 30% US stocks, if you want to use an ETF, you could, for example, use SPY or IVV, VOO, VTI. For the 40% long-term bonds, you could use TLT. For the 15% intermediate-term bonds, you could use IEF, BND, or AGG. And for the 7.5% commodities, you could use DBC. And for the 7.5% gold, you could use these following gold ETFs. So the whole purpose for this all-season portfolio is based on one belief. So Dalio believes there are only four factors that move the price of assets. This is really similar to the Harry Brown's permanent portfolio, I think. And basically, the four factors are inflation, which is the increase in prices for goods and services, deflation, or the decrease in prices for goods and services, rising economic growth, and declining economic growth. And corresponding to these four factors, there are only four different economic seasons that will ultimately affect whether asset prices go up and down. And these seasons are higher than expected inflation, lower than expected inflation, higher than expected economic growth, and lower than expected economic growth. And here is a picture here. Okay. I think William just sent a message in the chat about having to leave. Okay, that's okay then. There's only like a few more slides I need to cover, and see you then, William. Bye. Okay. Okay. So, moving back to the all seasons portfolio, um, according to Dalio, nobody really knows which economic season will come next, and so he believes you have a 25% probability in any of the 4 economic seasons. Of course, I think if you actually look at data, maybe you'll find some seasons are more common than others or last longer than others, but for the sake of simplicity, he assumes that you have a 25% probability.
Hmm.
So because of this, Dalio designed his portfolio such that in each of the seasons, there are always some assets with good performance. And here you can see this is a chart of like each of the 4 seasons and which assets perform good in those seasons. So for rise and growth, we know that stocks, corporate bonds, and commodities will have growth with for like will perform well. In falling economic growth, treasury bonds and inflation-linked bonds generally perform well. In rising inflation, commodities or gold and inflation-linked bonds perform well, and in falling inflation, treasury bonds and stocks generally fall well. Generally perform well.
Mhm.
So this portfolio is designed to have assets with that will perform well in any season. So you may be asking, what is the actual performance of this portfolio? Backtesting showed that it had outperformed the popular 60/40 portfolio, which is similar to like the Warren Buffett's 90/10 portfolio, and which we were supposed to talk about today. And this all seasons portfolio had positive annual returns over 86% of the years in that period. And the average annual loss was just under -2%. So if the portfolio did have losses, they weren't like big losses. When backtested during the Great Depression, the all seasons portfolio was shown to have lost just -20.55%, while the S&P 500 lost -64.4%, and many like stocks and companies even went bankrupt during that period. Additionally, the average loss from 1928 to 2013 for the S&P 500 was -13.66%. The average loss for the all seasons portfolio was just -3.65%. And furthermore, in years when the S&P 500 suffered some of its worst drops, the all seasons portfolio actually made money. And so I introduced I talked about this portfolio to you guys, just because, again, it's a pretty famous portfolio, and it is good because it has it is very stable, and it also doesn't need a lot of like management, just like a rebalancing every year at the end of every year. And so I thought I would just share this portfolio with you guys so you guys would get an idea of like some like traditional portfolios, and this might help you build your own investment portfolio.
Hmm.
And yeah, so that's the end of this meeting today, I guess. We ran a little bit over time, but it's fine. And thank you all for coming. And see you next month.
Nice to meet you guys.